This tutorial is going to show you how you can use PowerPoint to create clip art and use it for your logo. So this is PowerPoint. When you first open it, it automatically has a formatted title slide. I always go up here to layout and change it to blank, because essentially this is going to be my blank canvas. Now you probably already know that when you go to insert, you have a lot of choices. You can insert pictures, so if you already have clip art, you can use insert pictures to find that clip art and put it on the page. You can also do an online search for pictures. Just make sure you know that you have to give proper attribution to the image's owner if you find a picture online. You can also pull pictures from your photo album. But you can also actually create your own logos by making use of the auto shape tools. So there's a huge variety of basic shapes that with practice you can creatively put together to make really interesting clip art. And I'm going to do something really basic. I'm going to start with an oval. I'm going to hold down my shift key because I want a perfect circle. So this is just going to be the frame for my logo. And I don't really want it to have a fill. Well, right now it's blue, it's a solid fill. I'd like it to be empty, but have a nice thick line so it'll serve as the border for my logo. So I'm going to right click and click Format Shape. And then I can click No Fill. And here I can decide what kind of line I want. Now you may have noticed over here when I right clicked, I also have fill and outline options here, but I don't have as many choices when I click on fill and outline from this little box. I can see all my choices if I go to Format Shape, and you have a lot more options as far as what kind of line you want. So I'm designing a logo for a school whose colors are black, white, and orange. So I'm going to choose black. And what I'm doing now is I'm going to make it extra thick. I'm adjusting the width. And I'm just kind of eyeballing it to see what I like. And then you have all different kinds of different lines you can use. You can do different kinds of dashed lines. I kind of like the compound line, so I'll choose that. So here I've got just a beginning for my logo. And now I'm going to go ahead and put in some text so that I can include the name of my library. I'm going to include a text box. And I can move this around after I type. As you can see, it's kind of awkward right now, fitting it in the circle. So I want to play around with these words a little bit. For one thing, that font isn't very fun. I actually have some fun fonts that I purchased on Teachers Pay Teachers that I'm going to make use of here. I'm going to make sure I pick something clear and easy to read. And I'd like to see this text curve so it matches the circular shape of my logo. So I'm going to go up here to, got some text options. Here, text effects is where I want to be. And look at all the fun choices we have in text effects. There's a lot of fun to be had here, but I want to go for the shapes. You can see I have a lot of choices as far as the shape of my text. I just want something basic. And you can see I can kind of play with this a bit . until I get it the way I want. I am just playing around right now until the text is basically what I'm trying to go for here. Big key to making use of tools like these is just playing, making it work. I like PowerPoint in that it has these little crisscross hatch marks that let you know when things are centered. It's helpful. All right, so there I've got my library, and I'm going to do something really simple for my logo. I'm going to make a paw print. So I'm going to go back to Insert Shapes. I could go find Paw Print clip art online, but there's a chance I'll have to go through the process of getting permission to use it. And a paw print is something that's really actually pretty easy to make with auto shapes. One of my favorite tools to use in the shapes is this little tool right here. It's called a curve. So when you, there's a squiggly line. It's hard to make a decent shape with a squiggle line. This creates arcs, but this curve tool is actually handy for drawing. I'll show you what I mean. So I'm going to click with my mouse, and I've got a little line here, but I can actually use it to draw, and it's pretty forgiving. I'm going to basically do the basic bottom shape of a paw print here, and it's not perfect, not exactly, but something else that's fun about this tool is when I right click, one of the choices is edit points. Look at that. So I can kind of play and until it gets kind of the way I want it to be. I need it to go up in the middle a bit. And if you lose your edit points, just right click and edit points again. I'm gonna make a new point. It's kind of being fussy with me. What I did just now is I went over here to where you can zoom in and out, and sometimes with clip art, it's helpful to zoom in a bit to see what you're doing a little closer. What I'm wanting to do is create another point. There we go. Let's go backwards a bit. I want to make this a little more rounded. There we go. It's kind of rough, but let's go zoom back out and take a look. You could probably play with this all day and perfect it, and I could too, but I'm just going to do something really simple here. All right, so I kind of have a paw print going. I would kind of like to make this orange though, because that's my skin. You know, I don't really like that color of orange. Doesn't look very orangey to me. So I'm gonna go to more colors, and it'd be hard to kind of make the orange I want here. So I'm just gonna click standard. I like that one better. And then I don't want a line. Right now the line is blue. I kind of don't want one. And the bottom part of my paw print doesn't need to look that big. Well, it's not a complete paw print because I need some little oval things here. So I don't need to spend a lot of time making those. I'm gonna just go to shapes and make some ovals. I still have my formatting box over here. All right, so I've got a nice paw, but I need a couple more. And instead of going through all those steps to make an orange oval, I'm going to right click and copy, and then right click, paste. It's just starting to look cute, but I want them to be different sizes. I'm gonna hold down my shift key and get a little smaller. And I actually like holding down the control V as in Valentine command to paste. Right click and copy that. And do a command V as in Valentine to paste. I'm noticing this paw is kind of taking up a lot of space. In my logo. I don't want it to be quite this big, and I kind of like a little room for claw marks. So I'm going to hold down my Shift key and select all the pieces of my paw. Then I'm going to hold down the Shift key again and drag it down. And I made it a little bit smaller. So you can kind of see how a perfectionist could probably do this all day. I'll make some little claw marks. Go back to my shape, see what I've got. I'll just do a little triangle. I'm going to use my most recent color, orange, and no line. And to help my eyes, I'm going to zoom in a bit. Zoom in a little bit more, and now I can move it out. And I don't have to go through all those steps to make a triangle again. I can just hold down Control C and then Control V, and there's another one. Control V as in Valentine, and then there's another one pasted. Control V as in Valentine. And there's another. And my little guy, I can also select my paw by clicking and dragging. There we go. Get them a little bit more centered. All right. This is a really simple version of a logo, but I just wanted to take you through the steps. Once you have your logo the way you want, you have all the pieces where you want them. Here's how you can save it as clip art that you can add to any document. I'm going to click and drag across till everything is selected. You can also select all the pieces by holding down the Control button and clicking the letter A, Control A. But once everything is selected, I'm going to right click and go to Save as Picture. By default, it's going to save it as a PNG file, and that's what you want. So I'm going to give it a name. And I'll just save it on my desktop so I can find it easier. My UCO folder. All right, now I'm going to add a clean slide. Because I'm going to show you how I can treat that logo we just saved as a piece of clip art. If I go to Insert Picture, I'm going to go back to the UCO folder and find that clip art piece that I just created, and it's right here. And click Insert. And now it recognizes it as a piece of clip art. That's one unit, one piece. And I can make it bigger or smaller. I can kind of tilt it on its side. And I can put it on any of my library documents. That was just a very brief, quick tutorial for creating clip art using PowerPoint.